Hi, hi Shubham. So this is episode 2 of Conversations on AI. I think we have also choose a very interesting topic to discuss this time.
Yeah. So Karthik, I'll dive right in, right? So I had this shower thought, and that's not leaving me alone.
Uh,
In the next 6 to 18 months, most organizations will celebrate their employee of the year as an AI employee, and they will do it publicly. And they will be proud of their AI employee, and it will be the entire org coming together and applauding.
yes.
And
Why? Why do you feel so?
this is where we are headed,
Huh.
where AI becomes very critical to the way we operate. Like awareness is not a problem anymore, of course, and we talked about that last time when we sat together. But it's like becoming critical to the business to the extent where people are like really plugging in AI into their the way they work. And onboarding an employee is the way most people have operated so far. This is the core muscle as such. So if you like last time when we were chatting, you mentioned that about the concept of intelligence on tap, right? And what was the say 2016 way of bumping up intelligence in my org? That was onboarding new people in my team.
Right.
So now that behavior does not change. It's just that instead of onboarding human employees, now you're onboarding AI employees.
That's
So
why are you calling it an employee, not an agent or a tool for, let's say?
yeah. So let's draw the line on this, and I'll bifurcate it in two ways. So there's a stark difference between a tool or a workflow versus an employee, and I'll say that would a tool own an outcome versus would an employee own an outcome? You would expect an employee to own an outcome. So it's one, would it own an outcome? Two, can you, like, if you fire or if you get rid of that thing, would there be like a handover expectation? Would there be something like a notice period? Can you like just get rid of them? There's lack of like dependency. And three, are there any managers for that employee or for that tool versus is it reporting to someone or are they reportees? So if I like distill it down, it's like ownership of outcome. Does it report to someone or is there anyone reporting to it? And three, is there a handover expectation the day it stops working? So
if we have to define what is an AI employee, then do we use the same mental model that we have for human? Okay, this was a job that a human used to do, now AI will do it, and hence it's an AI employee. So going back to the thought that we discussed in episode 1, which is silicon intelligence versus carbon intelligence. So carbon intelligence is human, I think silicon intelligence is AI employee. Is that how we have to think about it?
very much so, because behaviors take longer to change, and tech is changing very rapidly, but behaviors are still catching up, and people won't change their behavior, orgs won't change their behavior that quickly. In fact, what seems to be making sense to a lot of people is the age-old way of thinking about getting an employee in the team, which is writing a job description, looking for the right talent,
Right.
probably giving them an assignment and seeing whether they are able to deliver some initial value,
Right.
and then just repeating this cycle till you either train them well and they work perfectly in the org, or you find another person and then replace them. So this assimilation of a unit of intelligence getting onboarded into the org, and this is what seems to be making sense to a lot of people in my recent conversations, is very similar to how an employee gets onboarded in a team.
So that makes me think. So essentially, you're saying that to do knowledge work, you need intelligence.
Yeah.
Now intelligence is available on tap. In earlier world, if you had to, let's say, hire intelligence, you had to hire humans. Now the equivalent way of for that now is AI employees as a concept, because it is this conceptually it is built around the same mental models that are pre-existing on how people behave and do things now. and hence this conceptually is easy for people to think and adopt. Is that the
Yeah, and this is partly me challenging what we discussed in the last episode about refounding an org. So refounding an org may not entirely mean that the current org structure collapses, but extended version of your team, which is AI employee playing a large role in how you operate, is how I think most of the orgs will be refounded. And that's where the genesis of this thought, that's not less like I'm not able to shake it off.
right?
That this AI employee will be the employee of the year
Right.
for a lot of orgs in the next 6 to 18 months. And I'll put a date to it. Let's, I think Diwali 2027.
Else biryani party.
100%. Meghna biryani is close by.
Yes.
So Diwali 2027, we will see orgs celebrating these AI employees as their
Bet.
employee of the year.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very bullish on it.
Almost
Every conversation is pointing me towards that.
Okay.
In last few weeks, last couple of months.
Curious, say more. Like what kind of thing? What gives you this much conviction?
One, I myself have 7 AI employees directly reporting to me every day,
Okay.
and they just do the job.
Okay.
Oh man, my life is much simpler.
What do they do?
So a lot of it is around my productivity. A lot of it is about the work that we do and how they contribute to the work, around like the way we build and the autonomous way of like picking up a task. And
can you give an example? You said 7 AI employees, right? What are the 7 things that you do, or a couple of employees?
So I'll give you a couple of specific examples. Like one is around finding relevant engagement opportunities for me. So if I want to be out there, I would technically hire, say, a social media marketing manager or a social media freelancer or an intern. Right. There's this employee who scans through my interest topics every day and surfaces the right post that I should go and interact with. And I'm telling you, that's working.
Okay.
And that happens every single day. Sometimes I slack off because I have some other meetings lined up and I don't end up going and engaging with those posts. But that doesn't stop. I may stop doing my job sometime, and that's when I put that guilt on myself that I am still the bottleneck, and I think humans will remain the bottleneck for forever.
And what other use cases?
Another one is like just the way we work. If there is,
do you have a AI employee chief of staff?
Man, I am chief of agents.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. So I just run my team of agents, and my job is to make sure that everybody is delivering. And this everybody is like all my 7, 8 direct reportees who are AI employees.
Okay. So going back to this question, what gives you this much conviction that this is going to be the next best employee of a company?
Look, my biases put aside, when I go and speak to people outside, the moment they start imagining a human's job done by AI, accountability solved for, all of a sudden they have multiple ideas. I think partly I was telling you in the previous conversation where I was talking about the imagination, the lack of imagination, being a bottleneck. Right. So when I go and meet people, a lot of those conversations, the first conversation is about me helping them imagine. Right. And if I help them imagine, all of a sudden they gravitate towards their existing mental model, which is, if I had to get this done, who would I hire? All of a sudden a JD will appear in their mind. All of a sudden a KPI would appear in their mind. They would say that, can this AI employee report to an XYZ? Can it have 3 reportees under itself? And those conversations really progresses very quickly. And like in a couple of days, the person is just hooked on to, just a new way of thinking where they are just churning out JDs, or rather, like the vacancies within their org, within their team, where they didn't even realize that they needed someone else to play a role. Right.
But do you think, conceptually right, conceptually you can have a AI silicon intelligence do working as an AI employee and do the job, but do you think technology is there or is to that level that it can autonomously do certain types of job well? Or maybe the other way of asking that question is, today's technology, as per its today's both strengths and limitations, what type of jobs is this AI employee conceptually best suited for?
Great. So I'll in fact answer your the previous phrasing of the question as well, and then I'll come to this.
Sure.
So tech is certainly there, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a very relatable example. We all have to do our income tax filing, and deadline is approaching.
Right.
And when I had Fable a few days back, free on tap, right? Created a module. I was able to do end-to-end income tax filing in 8 minutes.
Wow.
With raw bank statements and the capital gains, all the reports and everything,
Right.
dumped into one folder,
Right.
and it was just able to get it done in 7 to 8 minutes. All I had to do was just upload that JSON, and in fact, it was willing to go and do that on Chrome, but I didn't want to get flagged anywhere. So,
Okay.
so it just created that JSON, and I had to just go and upload it.
Wow.
End to end, 7 minutes, and my CA quoted me 8,000 rupees,
Wow.
and I was like, I will take it up as a personal challenge. That if I'm so bullish on AI employees,
Right.
then at least it should be able to go and do the tax filing for me.
Wow. Wow. Brilliant. Coming back to this, so you're saying that because now you have models available to this level
tech
of
is certainly
intelligence,
there.
Tech is certainly there. Tech is certainly
And
there. But are there any specific things? I'm sure there are some things that still an AI employee as a concept might not be able to do.
Yeah.
There are things which it is very certainly best suited for. Let's say if you think of all the work or all the types of employees in organizations today, what are those top 3 to 5 types of employees or types of work or outcome for that matter, for which you think this concept can be readily
Great.
employed?
So I'll break it down in a 2x2 matrix so that we are able to visualize this. And I'll put judgment on the x-axis and frequency on the y-axis. So any task that is high judgment and high frequency would be on quadrant 1. Right. So I'd go and directly tackle something that is high frequency, slightly lower judgment.
Okay.
So that's the sweet spot, and that's a good starting point.
Right.
That's where you start, and that's where you scale.
And slowly you progress to high frequency, high judgment.
Yes. Now, context of the business, these roles and these tasks or these outcomes might change.
Right.
But that's the mental model that I use to bifurcate.
Right. Got it.
And I'll draw a very interesting analogy over here. So just like a human employee, an AI employee can be an individual contributor or can be a managerial person in the team.
Right. True.
Either it can report to someone or it can have reportees reporting to it.
Right.
So its job could be to do the work or its job could be to get work done.
Right.
And usually doing the work is like the intuitive answer that why don't I give it a task and let it do the task for me. And then gradually maybe it will move towards like what we talked about, slightly higher judgment and higher frequency.
Right.
So that's where like the gradual transition to a managerial role comes up. But turns out that a lot of business leaders are actually excited about the roles where AI has 2, 3, 4 direct reportees to them.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
Say more.
This is where like I was like also kind of like mind blown. So people have these resources already staffed in their team, and I'd say that these are the folks who are actually operating the system or doing the job. If you are in say service business, you have a lot of technicians working as part of your org.
Got it. So essentially you're saying AI as a monitoring layer.
AI as a supervisor.
Supervisory layer.
AI as a manager.
As a manager layer.
Yeah, so it could be a technician in charge that takes care of all the technicians who are actually running on the ground and coordinates with them on WhatsApp.
Right.
managing their schedules, managing their reporting,
Right.
managing that
Keeping
the
track
tasks
of
are
the
actually getting done.
Right.
There are no escalations. So I'd call it a technician in charge,
Huh.
which is like
Got
a
it.
supervisor.
Yeah.
And similarly, there could be someone who is like, say, a role could be someone who is responsible for making sure that the factory ops are
Right.
in place.
Got it.
All the raw materials are coming.
I think there's
together.
a lot of use case for this where there's a lot of complexity, especially in operations kind of use cases, where there's a lot of complexity and variability and daily level lot of firefighting happens. For example, the technician example that you've mentioned. Yeah, it's like managing humans requires a lot of this grunt work, keeping track of their tasks, whether they're
And
done,
there are a lot of
not
decisions
done.
need to be taken in real time, right? So
decisions need to be taken
and
in real time.
we tend to, and in fact, I mean, all of us, it happens with me also, that after certain number of decisions in the day, that fatigue kicks in.
Right.
Where I'm just like not able to decide anymore. I mean,
Right.
sometimes I open a food ordering app and I'm just like scrolling through, not able to figure what to get.
Yeah.
And those moments of weaknesses actually affect my work if my job is to stay always on.
Right. True.
So any job that requires you to be always on, requires you high volume and high frequency of decisions. Even if these are micro decisions, lower judgment, but it's a decision.
Right.
So these, I think, AI employees very well suited for.
Got it.
And that again is like you plug in slight bit of intelligence, you bump up the intelligence in every single decision that your org takes.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I think in the previous conversation, not sure you mentioned, I imagine it as infusing intelligence into decisions of an org.
Yeah.
Let's say there are 100 people in an org. Each of these 100 people are taking X number of decisions, but not every decision is super optimal today. One of the reasons is fatigue, but there are other reasons also why decisions are not optimal. Maybe they don't have the necessary bandwidth to be rigorous about their decision making, which requires thinking, collecting data, thinking about it, synthesizing. Maybe not everyone has bandwidth to do every decision in such rigorous manner.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And there, if you can infuse intelligence into these places where this is starved, these decisions are intelligence starved, then it will improve quality of every decision that every human in an org takes, and overall at an organization level, it's just your quality of work.
I see a direct P&L impact, Karthik. In fact, if quality of almost every decision in your org, every, I'd say, low judgment decision in your org bumps up by say 20 points.
Right.
All of a sudden you would start seeing this impact, because when I speak to people are like, I see there are avenues to save cost. I see there are avenues to make more money if I am able to do this part well.
Yes.
And when you plug in scale, even a few bips of difference make a lot of absolute difference.
Right.
And I'll honestly, like at this point, I'll try to switch gears and I'll ask you, would you be comfortable reporting to an AI?
Why, man? As long as it gives me good increment.
But what are like few things that you are okay having an AI manager for, and what are few things that you would be okay having an AI reportee for? Like you managing AI employees as well as you reporting to an AI manager.
So yeah, that's a good question. So there are some tasks obviously I would want an AI employee to do for myself. That's why I was curious about this chief of staff concept. Everyone as part of their job has some amount of secretarial work, and today only CEOs, that too CEOs of companies of a certain size, get a chief of staff.
Yeah.
But everyone needs a chief of staff.
I have an AI chief of staff. Yes. Yeah. So
because
it's a good unlock.
Why am I wasting all my time doing thinking and
I
worrying
can't remember
about
things. I mean, honestly speaking, working with these LLMs, I think partly I've inherited this LLM personality. Memory.
Yeah. So chief of staff is one, I think, which everyone would want to do as a employee reporting to you. Going back to your question of what if AI is my manager? You haven't thought of it.
What if I break it down this way? I'd ask you, what would you be okay being answerable for to an AI?
I think if leaving me out of picture, if I think of just manager as a concept,
Yeah.
maybe in AI world, first thing is this concept of manager itself will need to be rethought. Let's, even if we keep that aside, even if you have to borrow the exact same mental models of a human org and then try to reason it using the same mental model of the human org, even then I think today as humans, I don't think we have been able to crack the process of grooming, developing great managers. And yeah, first of all, only few companies try to do that in a very intentional manner and invest in that. Not many companies do. Only few companies do that. And hence there is a dearth of good managers across companies. So some of the things that are expected from a manager, for example, coaching, is manager is supposed to coach your team instead of just taking status updates. I don't think we have really cracked that. And two, other job of a manager is to help the person thrive and get the best out of the person. But I don't think many large section of human managers are doing a great job at that. So this is on the good things that could have been done but not. But there are also a lot of these things around biases, favoritism, and then negative aspects of not being able to tune your approach of dealing with a human based on the other person's personality. For example, you're a manager, you have a team of 5 people, and each of those 5 person has a different personality.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
respond to different things, different incentives, even different way of speaking. For some people, they only listen if you reason with them and speak to them and reason with them. For some people, you need to be stern to get the best out of them. And of course, that also depends on situation. So this cognitive flexibility, this skill, this patience, I don't think most people have been able to develop that. And also, I think it's not so easy to do that as well, right? So if you look at it that from that conceptual level, having intelligence on tap should be able to do this in a much better manner than a human. If not for everything, at least on some aspects, AI can do a better job. Maybe the beginning of it would be, yeah, human manager exists, but some of the things that this human manager is not able to do, this AI manager
What
will
could be
do.
such things in your opinion?
These things that I have described, right? Coaching, mentoring, ensuring that you get best out of them,
Yeah.
and then keeping in track of and giving feedback on the not on personality and attitude, but also on the work output.
Yeah.
That is a very important thing. If you're a manager of designers, you should, the way you develop your team is by giving quality feedback on the output that they've generated, and only then the other person learns, right? So these kind of things, you can augment a human to do these kind of things using AI.
So I mean, I relate with this. Sometimes this AI chief of stars is very brutal with me. The days when I ask it for feedback,
It doesn't
gives-
care.
Yeah, man. I
It
mean,
doesn't
like
care
give
about
me
your
because
emotion.
it knows everything that's going on in my life.
Oh wow!
It knows what's moving forward and what's not moving forward. It is following up with me, and it is also looking up at the responses that I give it. Sometimes I just keep ignoring certain tasks.
Beautiful.
So it knows what nature of tasks are not moving forward.
Yeah.
In my work stream.
Wow.
And it has access to my calendar and my
Wow.
email and everything,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
So it gives such pointed feedback,
Huh.
which are both one related to the way I work
Right.
and also about the things that I'm working on.
Right.
And then it suggests me these frameworks that, like, I mean, the 3D framework, which is
Right.
do it, delegate it, or delete it.
Delete. Right.
So it would say this thing needs to be deleted. I mean, you have sat on it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And because it knows about
Wow,
all
wow.
the
So
people that I'm
it's-
interacting with.
So one of the things that people struggle with is managing their work.
Absolutely.
Task, which should I do now, which should I do, planning your day.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
most of the days I just show up at work and I fire up my AI chief of staff and I just look at my screen and I have clarity for the entire day.
Wow, nice.
And the days when I'm like feeling low energy and I don't want to push further,
Right.
like say it's 9 p.m. and I'm like hungry and I can't push further,
Right.
I'll just say I can do one thing.
Right.
Just pick one thing and let me go.
Wow.
And it
Yeah.
will say that just send that email and move on. And tomorrow morning you have to work out. And before the next meeting, that discussion with Karthik, you have to get these 3 things done.
Yes.
So it is, and I'm okay being micromanaged like that, honestly speaking.
I think it's more than micromanage. It is helping you. It is taking the burden off you.
Absolutely. It does feel like a relief, and that made me a little insecure. So I started syncing everything on my GitHub now. So I have a full version control of all my products, because like I was like, if I lose this for whatever reason.
True. Now these days I also am putting everything on GitHub and
that's why I get the insecurity when people say, how can I trust AI? But
this is also an interesting concept, because one of the reasons today you're not able to get the best out of a human is because you don't have full lens view into the human's life.
Absolutely.
Because human's life is life. It is you who are compartmentalizing it into, this is work, this is person. But if you think about a human's head, in human's head there is no partition. Work is impacting personal is impacting work. There are no boundaries.
Right.
It is a diffused thing. It is an analytical category of work and personal that we have created. But in brain, it is a diffused thing, all intermingled. And if you don't have lens of that dimension of what's happening in a human's life, for example, let's say some event happened in your life and this person is not happy, sad event has happened. As a manager, I don't think you should push on those 2-3 days. You should let it go, because you should understand something deep about what are you going to achieve by pushing that person in those 2 days when this person is sad because of some sad event that has happened in this life, right? So if you don't have view into that, you're not going to. I think having a full 360-degree view of a person's life I think it's going to be the unique thing that an AI employee has, which a human doesn't have, AI manager has, which a human manager doesn't have. And to be frank, I think people would be more comfortable sharing their personal stuff with an AI manager than a human manager. Right?
I have all my personal and work calendars synced with my AI chief of staff. It knows who am I meeting for dinner.
Wow.
And
nice.
It
Great.
just keeps asking me those questions, and then it surfaces those conversations like randomly. So it would go and do that. So it's very useful. I found it useful. So this is one of the okay, I'm reporting to my chief of staff. Let me put it this way. I said 7 to 8 AI employees reporting to me. I think I'm also reporting to one.
Nice.
So that's interesting.
So conceptually, I think there is a lot of depth to this of AI employee, and you can imagine different ways it will manifest now, medium and long term. Let's say I'm a CEO of a company. I understood the employee concept. I see that this is one of how future is going to evolve, or this is going to be one of the modalities around which the future will evolve. Now, today, if I have to operationalize this, let's say I'm a CEO of a company, how should I go about it? Starting with for what thing should I hire an AI employee? How should I think about it?
So again, I would resurface the same metrics that I was talking about.
Judgment and frequency.
The judgment and frequency one. And in my recent conversation, most of the aspirational leaders who want to do more, who are chasing growth for their org, they kind of like have some roadmap in their mind.
Right.
The moment you add another dimension to it, which is AI doing work for you,
right,
the whole paradigm opens up. It's like a new paradigm, new dimension, and then the imagination kicks in, and then they start visualizing. So,
So sorry to interrupt. So one is judgment and frequency framework, and you need to figure out. But are there any ready-made common things give 3 to 5 concrete specific things.
There could be a business analyst.
Okay, AI business analyst as an
there
employee.
There could be a procurement manager.
Procurement is one.
There could be a chief of staff.
Chief of staff is
your
third.
Slash your executive assistant slash your founder's office.
Right, founder's office.
Right,
that's
and
third.
there could be a social media, your pulse checker.
Pulse checker.
Who keeps a track of what's happening on social media that's relevant for you and like keep surfacing those stuff for you.
True.
And then there could be one to just do the heavy lifting of, say, running a podcast for that matter.
Like doing podcast like is for us. Let's say for in an organization. Yeah, content creation.
Content creation could be that. Just writing the script. Like I have a friend who heavily use AI for creating scripts for their Instagram.
Right.
And another one who is building something in that so that they can actually create scripts. The model can create scripts for their advertisements.
Right. So can I have maybe HR is also another place where you can have
100%.
AI employee.
In fact, where you have say a large team of factory employees.
Right.
There is concept of daily attendance.
Right.
There is concept of minimum wages.
Right.
There are a lot of labor law compliances.
Right.
FinOps would be another one.
Right.
Where there is a layer sitting between the raw financial data that comes to the finance team and their actual financial workflows.
Right.
Typically, we've all had those days where we had to paste bills on a A4 sheet and write the description of what the expense was for, or log it in some system.
So I think a lot of all this manually intensive workflows, all of those are very ripe for AI employee.
So I would still not call it manually intensive alone. I'd still call it like high frequency.
Low judgment.
Slightly lower judgment.
Lower judgment.
FinOps is not very, very high. And it's like also a leap of faith for someone to let an AI employee do the work for them.
Right.
So in these workflows, I think the tech is further higher up. I am able to get the outcome from the current tech.
Right.
But the leap of faith will still start from something like this.
Small.
So that's like a starting point in my opinion.
Starting small and then you can keep.
Yeah, and then like the managerial roles that we talked about, right? So which is where you have a certain part of your team reporting to an AI manager or an AI supervisor,
right,
or an AI in charge,
right,
in say technicians, or for any field related roles, or for any ops related roles, or for any procurement related roles.
Yeah, I think these are a lot of good use cases. Yeah, so this is said, okay, I'm a CEO of a company. For what types of work can I hire an AI employee? These are all the different types of work.
I'll also add one more caveat to it. One large responsibility for people who are higher up in the org is to prepare work for their team. There is a whole layer in almost every org. It could be one person or a team of multiple people who is preparing work for the next level. That's a big unlock if you leverage AI over there. If say AI is managing Jira for a part of your team and preparing work for them and assigning them work every single day in the morning, so that the moment they log into their system, they know exactly what to do. A lot of orgs bandwidth goes into just making that happen.
Yes, project manager.
Exactly. So project manager is a big unlock.
Right. Makes sense. So these are all different roles for which I can hire an AI employee. And then second is, okay, I decided, okay, out of all these roles, I want to start with this. Then how do I hire one? Where do I go? Is there a Naukri.com for AI employees?
Yeah, I think almost everyone who has the mindset of doing it by themselves, the DIY mindset, they would log into their Claude and try to make it happen.
Right.
So that's, I think, usually the step one, that can I leverage Claude to get work done within my org. So most of the journeys start there, but many of those end up just becoming your personal productivity related tools or workflows, and not something that your team is interacting with, or not something that you basically prepare an output and your team is like consuming that output. Most of it still is personal productivity, like me taking help on writing a LinkedIn post, or writing my Substack, or doing XYZ. So where to start? I think that's where the general starting point is. And otherwise you have to start thinking of, I'd add a technical term over here, which is around the harnesses,
Hmm.
because an agent delivers because of the right environment that it works in.
Right.
So if you are able to put some work on configuring and orchestrating things around the harness, or in the harness rather, I would say, that's where the work starts compounding, where what you put in today
Makes
gets
sense.
utilized throughout.
You're saying, oh, that's an interesting point. You're saying AI employees, you can even manufacture in-house.
You can. It's a lot of hassle. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
a
mean,
lot of
that's,
hassle.
you think that's the starting point?
That's a starting point, and most people start their journey in their cloud,
Right.
or Codex, or whatever tool that they are hooked onto. And people create these internal tools on Emergent, and I think that's like one pattern where people get to very quickly, which is that they build something that they don't want to use anymore.
Right.
And but just because they built it and they are
True.
proud of it, they wanna
True.
continue sticking with it.
Yeah, I think once you try to build in-house,
You need a chief of agents.
yeah, you need
So get
there's
a
an
chief of
infra
agents.
layer. Yeah, got it.
If you
Makes
get
sense.
a chief of agents, you will be able to, I think, staff AI employees. You will be able to
Yeah.
manage them.
Yeah.
And
So are you going to give vacation to this AI employees? Do they have? Do
they
have
don't
sick
ask
leave?
for any.
Do they have sick leave?
They don't ask
Do they
for
have-
any. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you might. So there's you might put them on dreaming.
Oh.
So they sleep in the night and wake up
Right.
maybe middle of the night and reflect on the entire day and improves.
I think that brings to an interesting concept. Okay, I hired an AI employee. Now, how do I manage an AI employee? A human employee, I know if this employee does wrong, I can scold or
Yeah.
hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Then, if AI employees, what is the concept of how does the concept of managing work here?
So this is where it starts getting complicated, Karthik, and I see this as a large gap, honestly speaking, because all of a sudden you see a platform gap over here, which is that almost every org has, every org has only dealt with human employees.
Right.
Till very recently, some of the companies have started plugging in AI employees into their systems, but otherwise, we are inherently good at working with our human team, our carbon employees.
Right.
But we are not really, capable of. Most orgs are not capable of managing, building an
True.
AI employee. So that is where the gaps start coming in. But
Right.
otherwise, to answer your question, you need to care deeply about that AI employee on your team. What that means is give it the right access to the systems in your org, the data systems, the data silos. Enable it with the right tools. Let it run wild for a little bit. Give it the liberty to learn. So when I say all of this, this is like mostly a junior level person getting onboarded on their team. It's just the learning curve is very steep.
Right.
They can like pick up things very quickly.
And also much more number of things.
More number of things, yeah.
Not
So
just
volume of work.
Volume of work.
Yeah, and then the moment you start adding not just one employee but rather a team of AI employees, how do they collaborate with each other?
Right.
How do they interact with different people in your team?
Right.
What kind of like a org structure that you put for your team of AI employees?
Right.
Who has access to what?
Right.
Otherwise everything is behind is like a bash command away. Right. You can just pull whatever you want, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So how do you govern that? And I'll again dial back that all of this is possible only with a robust harness. I think slapping a better model and hoping for better result is a lazy answer. Only when you work on your harness is when you are able to manage the employees well. Or
But
staff
don't you
them
think doing all of this is like too complex for a company?
well. Yeah, that's why something like a platform needs to exist, which I am very excited to. Yeah, because I imagine a future where every org will have an extended team of AI employees.
Right.
Some of the orgs will be able to manage staff and run their AI team themselves, but
Right.
most orgs will choose not to.
Mm.
And when companies choose not to do it by themselves, a large opportunity shows up, which is where a few of the players who exist out there are also playing, and that's where I also personally see a big opportunity, and that's where my conversations have been, signaling as well. So it is a big overhead. There is no one line answer for how to manage an AI employee. I can talk
I think
on
all of this
longer.
is all of this is new. We are all learning.
Yeah.
There's no playbook, established
You have
playbook.
to like build the playbooks as you go.
Right.
And one thing I can say with confidence is that once you have your first AI employee in the team, the life of the next one is much easier.
There's a compounding also.
Yeah, because a lot of your data accesses are resolved for.
So
a lot of your trust
organized
issues are
trust
resolved
issues
for.
are- right.
So it's like you
And
onboard the first employee.
You learn how to give a right environment for AI to thrive.
Absolutely. And sure, the next set of challenges start appearing, which is when how do multiple AI employees contribute to the org's outcome and output, right? So that's a separate story, but otherwise life become easier for the second AI employee in your team, and so gone for the third and the fourth.
Got it. Yeah. So I decided which roles I should hire for. I hired an AI employee. Let's say I also figured out how to manage an AI employee. Now, and second is, let's say this employee leaves. So what is a departure process?
That's the thing, it doesn't leave till you want it to leave.
No, let's say, okay, this engagement is over, I want to stop.
Yeah.
Then how do you think about all things of related to my data privacy, my the things, let's say today, let's say a human employee is there, human employee joins the company, human employee learns some skill as part of the doing work in that company, and that skill resides in human's head. And that human, even if that human goes out of the organization, the human carries that skill with that with them.
Yeah.
And we have evolved in a manner that our economy, that this is now okay. The skill that you have acquired, but in the process of working in an organization, it can reside in your head. You can take it outside also, and you can leave organization, and of course that's how you get more and more salary, because your skill gets compounding, right? I don't think philosophically or principle level companies don't have objection to that. But now if an AI employee comes and it does work in your company as part of some workflow, and as part of doing that work it learns some skills. Now skills are all text files. Now, how do you think about that? So, does AI employee carry the skills along with it once you deport it, and how do you think about?
Great question. I'll break it down into 2-3 elements. First thing first, intelligence is anyways borrowed. Either it is Opus or a Fable or a
human also for that matter.
Yeah. So intelligence is inevitably borrowed.
Right.
The moment you choose to stop, you basically return the intelligence. You don't pay for the intelligence anymore, which is when you stop making LLM calls.
Right.
So that's borrowed intelligence, it was never yours.
Right.
So you have no claim on it.
Right.
So you can't have a non-compete on the intelligence, on the raw intelligence that I'm talking about.
Oh wow, non-compete is another important thing.
So that's what I wanted to bring in. But you might have you would expect a non-compete on the rule engine. Okay. On the artifacts, you would expect
say more?
Like the skill file that you refer to. If I have a certain way of doing things, that skill or that process remains within the org.
Right.
That is not going out along with the intelligence.
Right.
That stays within the org. Now, of course, here I am also assuming that baseline intelligence is very, very rich today, and it will get richer. It will keep getting better. So, is there even anything that is proprietary to you? In silo, I think maybe nothing is. But that's the context and the bundle of it which remains with you continue to. Then the second one is just like how you would provision a laptop to a new employee.
Right.
You would provision a system to an AI employee.
Tokens.
No, I mean like even the physical system, which is where all the data resides, all the business logic resides, which is where the breaking up of data, which is where just making sense out of the data and actually churning out a result, all the artifacts reside. It's like my company laptop.
Right.
The day someone decides to leave, they leave their laptop behind. So you provision a new system and it would look like something like a Mac Mini plugged into a power socket and nothing else. And that stays with you. That's like your property. that stays with you. All the data resides in that. All the business logic crunching is done in that. And then of course non-competes around say like the same employee or the same intelligence can't be used for a very very similar business XYZ. But the moment, I mean, I would put it as a questionable claim, because the intelligence is inevitably borrowed. So unless you find a way to put a non-compete on Sam Altman or Dario, I don't think there is any
way out of it.
Yeah.
Actually, that also reminds me.
But privacy, of course, stays.
Right.
Privacy, of course, stays.
This AI employee, I think this concept of payroll also will get reimagined, I guess, because human employees, you are accustomed to paying monthly.
Yeah.
But maybe you can just, that is one way of engaging.
Yeah.
But maybe you can just have it for half an hour a day and just pay it for as you go.
So I think fractional talent will become a hot thing for sure. But otherwise, I think most people are reluctant, like we talked about, on changing behaviors. If people don't want new items on their cost ad.
Yeah, that's true. So you can choose to pay it monthly, but you can just, if it is working only for half an hour a day,
you pay less.
You pay less.
Because you still pay monthly.
You can. I think it gives a lot of flexibility in terms of quantifying a value of one's work or in an AI employee's work. I mean, that maybe brings to another question. Is time the right way to judge the value? Okay, it worked for half an hour, so I'll give half an hour work.
I don't think so, because then your mind goes into over calculation.
Right.
Sure, there is a clock in, clock out for human employees also.
Right.
And which is the definition of the, I mean, and then I'll take a step back and say what the JD is. If the JD is to stay always on, then what are you calculating? Right. So I would take a step back and question it on a first principle level, and the entire concept of a CTC would come in, even for an AI employee. When you provision a laptop, that's part of cost to company.
Right.
When you give them a seat at the office, that's part of the expense to the company.
True.
So all of those construct, in my opinion, will remain, and those constructs are something that people are comfortable with as well.
Right.
Because they are anyways going for it. Nothing is changing, right? So less change on these aspects versus changing the way work is done. So that paradigm shift is what I am bullish on.
Right. So will there be offsite for AI?
Yeah, Mac Minis are not waterproof. Can't take them for scuba diving. Yeah.
But let's say this man, I was just thinking, let's say I'm a CEO, I had an AI employee, how do I measure its performance?
Yeah, so you would have those KPIs, you would have those SLAs, you would, so for example, say
and what do I do if it doesn't work well?
You hold somebody's collar, right? You keep something accountable.
Right.
And this is a large challenge with AI. We talked about this theme, right? So you can't keep AI accountable. So, and that's where again a platform gap forms, which is where there has to be a layer between your outcome and the raw intelligence.
Right.
What is that? That gap is what you keep accountable. The gap is what drives the outcome for you. The gap is what essentially manages the raw intelligence to drive what you want to achieve. So I clearly see that gap, but coming back to your question, like say, okay, for the sake of discussion, we'll take the role of a technician in charge who is supervising, say, a team of 50 on-ground technicians. The business metric over there is zero escalations. Very simple. The next NPS for them is customer rating. Right. So anything that enables that is this in charge's responsibility. Which could mean checking in with every single on-ground technician first thing in the morning, making sure that everybody is running on time, making sure that if something is going off, then there is a patch ready, and running the whole orchestration through the day. So that the day ends with zero escalations and probably a 4.8 star rating.
Got it.
So that's quite measurable. And if you were to write a JD for a in charge of all the technicians, that's how you would write it. And I think this also brings me to another problem that I am seeing, is that most of us are bad at articulation.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
And I don't
we are
think
somewhere on the spectrum.
yeah, no. Even not just articulation,
Yeah.
but I don't think most JDs are also well thought through.
Not at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried doing this activity where I was like, let me look at what kind of roles are people hiring for.
Yeah.
And turns out it's all very generically
Yeah.
written, right? Very
Yeah,
generic
yeah.
written.
True,
And
true.
most of my
People don't even put care and thought. This is part of what I was doing in
it's
my
like-
last startup.
Yeah.
We were trying to reimagine hiring. One of the components of doing that were we were thinking of, can you have a new form of JD? Well, this thing JD, and most people don't have such well thought through this thing of
Absolutely.
why am I hiring this person, what am I expecting from this person, what kind of skill set is required. They have some high level intuitive thing, but not a very crystallized, concrete, listed out way.
And this is where I think most of the orgs will have to go through a journey, because in my experience, only when I write, say, a 15-page JD is when an AI employee start performing.
Right.
If
Yeah, you can't.
If I'm not that specific, it does not work. So this is, I think, a big challenge, which is
Maybe AI can do
extracting
this work as well.
It can, but it needs to be grounded into those conversations.
Right.
So a lot of times I just record a conversation and I use that to develop or evolve a JD.
Right.
And that works beautifully, because we may not be very articulate, but we end up expressing what we
Right. Yeah. We express, but
desire.
we don't articulate.
Yeah. So
right.
if you have a mechanism to literally look over the shoulder,
Right.
to literally like capture that expression of need or the role, etc., then JD उससे निकल जाएगा. I mean, you can capture it out of that. But the expectation, I lower my expectation when I expect someone to write a JD for an AI employee.
Right. Wow. Oh, wow. That's crazy new world, man.
Yeah, it's quite.
World is changing
insane.
so fast.
Yeah, it's insane.
Nice.
It's insane. But yeah, I mean, it's like some people would call it dystopian, but I think it would be a new unlock to the entire, gamut of productivity and how work gets done. And I think every org will be able to do much more, and that will become a competitive edge for a little bit, and then it will become the new norm.
Yeah. And that's the cycle of
That's the
technology.
cycle. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the
And
cycle.
people who adopt it early have capture significant value as compared to people.
Yeah, so you're better off adopting it early than
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
So have AI report to AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nice, man. Nice
Yeah.
chatting with you.
Yeah, fun conversation,
Yes,
and
yes.
let's onboard a few AI employees.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chalo.
Chalo.
Thanks.
Okay, fun chat. See you next week.
Yes.